Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today I got a new movie review. We're talking about Lisa Frankenstein.
That's really weird, Lisa.
A misunderstood teenager and a reanimated Victorian corpse embark on a murderous journey together to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. So Lisa Frankenstein marks the directorial debut, or at least major motion picture debut, of Zelda Williams, yes, Robin Williams' daughter, and this is written by Diablo Cody. So the movie takes place in 1989, and we follow Lisa, who recently lost her mother to a tragedy, and so Lisa's father has moved on, and now Lisa and her father are living with his new wife, who's played by Carla Gugino, and her daughter. And Lisa's definitely a little bit different, and one of her favorite things to do is she goes out and hangs in this local cemetery, and where she kind of becomes fixated on this dead guy who is played by Cole Sprouse. And then one day this corpse is brought back to life, and as the film kind of goes on, the two start going on a murder spree trying to replace the missing body parts of our dead guy here. Even though you have murder and craziness here, there's also this love story as well, so you get a nice little horror rom-com. Lisa Frankenstein is definitely a love letter to those horror comedies of the 80s and 90s. You have influences, I think, from films like Edward Scissorhands, Weird Science, May, and there's definitely a heavy influence of Tim Burton on this film as well. For example, there's a particular black and white sequence which was one of my favorite sequences in the movie that definitely gave me some heavy Tim Burton vibes, but also just where they live in this neighborhood, how everything looks, and just how quirky some of the characters are reminded me of some of earlier Tim Burton's work. And I have to give a huge shout out to the production design, the costume design, and the makeup here for the movie, because they really did a good job of setting the atmosphere and making it feel like this movie was really plucked right out of the 80s. So as the film starts to go on, we see Lisa's style evolve as she becomes more confident in herself. You see her different wearing outfits, and everything in here just looked absolutely amazing. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the review, guys, that this film is written by Diablo Cody, who's famous for things like Juno, Jennifer's Body. She has a very distinct style of writing. And so when you're watching a movie, at least in my opinion, you can tell when it's written by her. It's pretty clear, I think, at least for me personally. And her characters, they're very quirky. She has a very specific style of comedy, and that might not work for some. For me personally, I really enjoyed it. It worked on all levels for me. I love the campiness that this film has. But depending on how you feel about her as a writer and some of her previous projects is probably going to determine where you're going to fall with Lisa Frankenstein. And as far as performances goes, guys, we'll start off with Kathryn Newton, who plays Lisa in the film. And I just thought she absolutely killed it here. She plays this lovable weirdo that at first she doesn't really talk a lot, and that's because she's still dealing with the aftermath of the tragedy that fell on her mother. And so, but as the film kind of starts to go on, she starts to break out of her shell and come into her own. And I just thought she was great here. I thought her comedic timing was amazing. And yeah, I mean, she's really been on a roll lately with all the projects that she's done the last several years. So I can't wait to see more from her, and I hope that she does more stuff in the horror genre as well. And then we have Cole Sprouse, who plays what they call Creature in the film. And this was a challenging role because it's a role where there's not really any dialogue. There's a little bit at one point, but for the most part, no dialogue with this character. You're just going off a lot of grunts and groans and facial expressions, and that can be pretty challenging. And I thought that Cole Sprouse did a good job with what he had to work with here. Making a likable character. And I got a little bit of, for you guys, watching this too, I'm curious if you kind of get the same thing. I got a little bit of a Billy Butcherson vibes here from Hocus Pocus. But yeah, I thought he was, great in this role as well. Next up, you have Liza Soberano, which I apologize if I'm saying her last name wrong, but she plays Lisa's sister in the film. And it's interesting because you kind of get the vibes when you initially see her. You think that she's going to be the mean, popular cheerleader character, and maybe she's going to pick on her sister. But that's not the case. She's actually kind of nice to Lisa. So I liked how they kind of, subverted expectations there. And I thought she was really good in the film. And then you also have Carla Gugino in the movie, which plays the kind of evil stepmother here. And anytime that I see Carla pop up in everything, she always knocks it out of the park. And this is no different. I thought she nailed this role. And then Joe Crest plays the father, and definitely gave me some vibes from Mr. Wheeler from Stranger Things. And even though he's kind of, I guess if your first time watching him, you'd be like, wow, this guy, what a horrible dad. He's just like not there really for his kids at all. But I don't know, there is like a lovable quality about him at the same time. But honestly, like everyone in the movie, I thought everyone nailed the roles that they had here. A really enjoyable cast as far as that goes. Overall, I had a ball with Lisa Frankenstein. It's a throwback to those horror comedies of the 80s and 90s with a killer performance from Kathryn Newton. Definitely think it's destined to become a cult classic, and I can't wait to see what's next for Zelda Williams. As far as the score goes, guys, I'm going to give this an 8.7 out of 10. I can't wait to go check this movie out again. I really hope that it does well as far as the box office goes, because I would love to see more movies like this. I'm missing movies like this. We haven't really gotten something that feels like this film, at least in the past couple of years, for me personally. I definitely want to see more of that, and I can't wait to see what Zelda Williams does if she does more projects in the horror genre. I'm really curious to check out her work, but yeah, definitely, go out, give this film a try. I think you guys, I saw the Rotten Tomato scores, and it's at like a 50% right now. And for me personally, I could see some people, like maybe if it's not their thing, but like a 50%, yeah, I completely disagree with that. I love this movie, and I think down the line, kind of similar to Jennifer's Body, that it's going to become a cult classic and really going to find its audience. So yeah, have you guys had a chance to check out Lisa Frankenstein? If you have, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you haven't, is it something that you're planning to check out? And what are some of your favorite horror comedies of all time? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, guys, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really helps out. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.